What's going on, everybody? Welcome in for another video. I really appreciate you guys for being here and taking the time to watch me react to these damn fires. Because first of all, this is out of control. I've never seen nothing like this ever, and I've been here for 27 years. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
Wow. I'm sorry.
You already know.
It starts buffering in the first few minutes. Y'all just bear with me. I got y'all. Fix the FPS. Maybe we'll take it down a notch. There we go.
Already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up the bat. Bah.
Rest in peace, TikTok.
It's your boy
y'all.
Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we got to do. You got to hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. You are the prize in 2025. You are the prize in 2025. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos. We back with another TikTok compilation, but this one is different. This got to do with the fires out there in California on the West Coast, man. Make sure you staying safe out there, man. I want to send my condolences out there to the people out in California on the West Coast, man. I was affected by this. I know some people out there that was affected by it. So definitely sending my prayers and condolences out there. But this was something that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to look at some of the footage. We're going to see what was going on out there. And you make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. And shout out to all my people out there on the West Coast in Cali, man. If you was affected, make sure you drop it in the comments, man. We sending our love and our support to you, man, for sure. So let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Massive wildfires are currently tearing up California's west coast, and this has left thousands of buildings destroyed, as well as forced tens of thousands to evacuate their homes. But what most people don't know is that these wildfires have been inevitable for years, and people are just now finding out. For example, if you look at where most of the west coast moisture
do your own research. You know, I gotta say that. Do your own research.
comes in, you can see that Southern California lies right outside of its range. And this is because while the Pacific Ocean deposits a fair amount of rain into the states of Washington and Oregon, this rain is blocked by a high pressure zone encompassing most of Southern California during the summer months, making it generally way drier than its surrounding areas. During the wintertime, however, this zone briefly shrinks down, giving California almost all of its yearly rain in a very short time period. Now, while this means that Southern California should be having a rainy season right now, 2024 saw an abnormally dry season during the summer, and this left on the surface tons of flammable bushes and shrubbery. Coupling this with the immensely strong Santa Ana winds, and these are the perfect ingredients to create huge and devastating wildfires. Now, with climate change becoming more prominent, it's clear that disasters like this are only going to become more common as the years go by.
More common?
First of all, y'all, I just want to say real quick that this is, believe it or not, this is judgment that's coming on to La La Land. Now, am I gonna get into everything that's going on out there? No, because you guys have eyes and you can see for yourselves. You got ears, you can hear for yourself. So for me personally, when I see something like this is pure judgment coming on to a city where, well, let's just say there's a lack of people who actually believe in the truth. Let's just put it that way. People do what they want to do. LA has become Vegas. You know what Vegas kind of you be in the morality that, you know, the kind of things that used to go on there, it's the same thing that's going on in LA. But look, I'll tell y'all this. No matter what, we have to be able to get to a point to where we are cognizant of what's going on and trying to stop these things before they start. You know, so like I said, just be careful. And for all my people out there living in Los Angeles, California, man, I'm praying for y'all, and I'm telling you, it's gonna get better before it gets worse. Keep your head up.
All of PCH is on fire right now.
Whoa.
There is fierce wind, down power lines.
That's crazy.
Power poles toppled over. Things are exploding.
Whoa.
Gas lines are on fire.
Whoa.
Flames are coming back over PCH, are being blown by fierce winds. It is like driving through hell itself down here. Literally through hell. This is madness down here. These homes are on fire, and you can feel the heat from the flames, even from inside your car.
Jeez.
It is insane down here.
Do your own research, like Brody said. But look, all I'm gonna say behind this is, well, I don't really know what to say too much, but it's hell on earth. I'm praying for everybody out there, and I hope that everybody is able to find them some good quality, safe shelter.
That looked crazy.
Just apocalyptic scenes in Altadena here this morning. You can see this house behind me up in flames. It's actually about to collapse any minute now. Along this street, a number of homes are burning. This is how many people in Los Angeles are waking up this morning. They're waking up to the news that they have lost everything overnight in one of the worst fires in Los Angeles history. If you have a look down the street here is another home up in flames. The sky is just black. It looks like it's nighttime here. It's quite hard to breathe, actually, but we're almost in the middle of the day now. There are power lines down everywhere, and there's a huge exclusion zone around many parts of Los Angeles, including Altadena. As I've said, four fires are burning. None of them are contained. 2 people, sadly, have lost their lives, and many more are injured. But they've had months and months of dry weather, really bad conditions here in Los Angeles, and this wind that you can see at the moment, it's been blowing at speeds of up to 180 kilometers an hour, and that's whipping up these embers right across Los Angeles.
No joke, y'all.
There's actually many people still trapped inside
that ain't no
their
joke
homes.
at all.
Oh my God, this is
Well, this is some wild video. Check out this fire NATO. It was captured by Fox 11 LA in the Palisades.
They're either calling this thing a firestorm or a fire NATO. All I'm gonna say is it's given Sodom and Gomorrah. And no, I'm not comparing Los Angeles to Sodom and Gomorrah. But I am saying is it looks just like this. When I get that envision, that imagery in my head, that's exactly what I see. That's wild, bro. And like I said, stay prayed up. Y'all be safe, get more safe, and man. But it's sad that it had to come to this. People are losing their lives. They're losing their livelihoods. Some people make money strictly from their home. What about that? Now they refunnel that back into the community. Insurance companies, I heard, were literally cutting people off before these fires even start. And if that's true, that is total bogus bullshit. And I don't stand for it. People buy insurance for one, safety. What the f is safe about losing your home or losing your life? I'm sorry, but that's garbage. And I do believe in heaven or hell. Covered that I don't know how many times on this channel and other channels, but you guys, look, eventually this is going to come to a head, and all I want for you guys is for you to be safe. Put ones in the chat if you feel me.
Palisades fire. This was last night about 10:45 local time. This one's been all over social media. Unbelievable. Yeah, you get big pressure changes, big temperature changes, and you can see those. It's a real thing. There's actually been an EF3 fire NATO that happened in the past. I'm trying to remember which fire
I ain't never heard of no fire NATO.
it was from. It was several years ago, but just the point is you can actually get these actual tornadoes that have fire in them that can get pretty strong. It's more like a dust devil than an actual tornado, which would come out of supercell. But my goodness, you want to talk about a contrast in what we've seen across the country over the last couple of days. And you can see this time of year, you know, December, January, you can get Santa Ana winds events that lead to fires. Of course, you know, fires of this magnitude, it's historic. And it's something that all those people are never going to forget. I'm never going to forget covering it as far as my career goes, because this is it's just been incredibly wild and memorable.
Mind blowing, y'all. Mind blowing stuff, man.
People, man.
Prayers
Okay,
up
so
to
I've been
these
getting
people,
a lot
man.
of comments like this.
Ones in
after
the
I
chat
posted
if
my
y'all
last
feel
video,
me.
and I'm about to break it down for you. Let's just start by saying you're right. The fires that we're dealing with right now are right next to the ocean. And while that sounds like a really good solution to use the salt water to put out the fires, here's why it's not. Equipment damage. Salt water is highly corrosive. So if we're scooping up salt water and dumping it all over the fires, it's going to damage the water hoses, the equipment that we're using to put out the fires that we basically depend on. And it's also going to damage the helicopters and the equipment that they're using. It could actually damage them so much that we would never be able to use this equipment again, which would cost us way more to get more equipment later for the next fire. The best way.
And that's another thing. I hate to cut her off, but bro, you got people out there in Los Angeles, California, homeless people with homes. It don't even matter. Just people in general that are setting these fires themselves. They are doing that's why we are not as heavily informed as to how these fires even started. Now, for me, I know for a fact that there's something bigger at foot. There's something bigger at play when it comes to all this shit, for real. You know, all I know is that we need to come together as a people. Why are we continuously tearing each other down when life does it enough?
Best way I can describe this is if you spill soda onto your laptop. Over time, the sugar and the acid ruins your laptop.
This is
kind of
happening
like
laptop,
the same
y'all.
thing
I
with
need
the
to
salt
get
water and the
and a new
equipment we use to put
new
out the
PC.
fires. 2, environmental harm. If you're spraying the fire with a ton of salt water, it leaves behind salt. The salt then seeps deep into the soil, destroying any plants or future plants that can grow there, which ultimately makes it harder for the land to recover and even destroys our ecosystem even more. And I know this is a terrible analogy, but think about it as seriously over salting a dish. The dish is destroyed. There's no going back after you oversalt it. 3, fresh water is just more effective, and the salt can alter how the water interacts with the fire. So yes, even though the ocean is nearby, it's not as simple as just scooping up the water and putting out the flame. The risks and challenges are just not worth it. So while it seems like a good idea, salt water is not the answer. But we can keep pushing for smarter and better ideas to protect California. That needs to happen like yesterday. There's a lot of money
Facts
going to other countries for other things, and a lot of money where we don't know where it's going, to be honest with you. California needs fire protection, period. So that when we're in a predicament like this, we are prepared and we can tackle the beast proficiently. Stay safe. If you have any more questions, I'll try and answer as best as I can. Bye.
That was a really good job on how she broke down that saltwater thing.
Here's the scary truth about the California wildfire going on and why it's almost impossible to stop. I've lived in Los Angeles over 10 years now, and I've learned a few things about the wildfires here. Speed and intensity. Most California wildfires move up to 15 miles per hour. That's faster than most people can run. They destroy everything in their path in minutes. Size. California wildfires have burned millions of acres each year. The 2020 fires burned more than 4.3 million acres.
What?
That's bigger than Connecticut, y'all. Cost and containment.
Whoa.
These wildfires literally cost millions of dollars to contain. In 2021, the Dixie Fire alone cost over $62.3 million to suppress. We're not talking about 3 million, 4 million. We're talking about 62 million and above. And then we have manpower, which is our firefighters. We have our firefighters that are working tirelessly in ridiculously dangerous conditions. Everyone's evacuating, they're running in. Sometimes it gets to the point where the state hires inmates to help put out the fires.
I heard
because the
that.
firefighters, they're exhausted, they need a break. And what happens when you run out of firefighters? You bring on inmates. True story, y'all. Another huge factor, water scarcity.
Again, I hate to cut her off. When you have untrained, unequipped firefighters who are really, in all actuality, inmates, doesn't that breed for a bigger problem? Doesn't that cause for more equipped people to then come in from out of state? Think about it. There's a reason why the rest of the world is at bay on this one. Because guess what? It's not just California this time. It's the entire West Coast. This video is just talking about the LA fires, but there's fires going up and down the West Coast. The world is divided. I'm in the East Coast. I won't tell you guys where. Not too much. That's too much TMI. But I'm in the East, which means we got a lot of sleet and snow, and people are falling, busting their heads, dying that way. Their houses are too cold. They're freezing at night. Not to mention the homeless people are stuck out there. There's real things going on in this country right now. And the LA fires, it just happens to be the biggest thing out of all of it. That is apocalyptic. Just like we saw in that first TikTok. Y'all go back in the video and take a look at it. But yeah, man. Look, I don't want this to be too long. I know it says an hour and 1 minute on the timestamp. I don't think we're going to get that long in it because we don't need to. We know what's going on. And it's time for them to stop playing those type of games. We'll go about another few minutes or so. We're about 10 minutes in now. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man.
Scarcity. Yes, it's possible to run out of water. It takes millions and millions of gallons of water to put out these fires. In California, the combination of drought and limited resources makes it really, really hard. Weather obstacles, like what's happening right now, the wind. We have, the wind is insane right now. The wind is what's spreading the fire. Not only that, the wind can blow gusts of fire, like pieces of fires to other areas of California and start another wildfire there. So wind is the biggest challenge. So when people are like, I thought the fire was in Palisades, like, why is it now in this area? And how is it all the way in that area? That's because of the wind. And it's literally picking up the fire, throwing it like a fireball to other areas of California.
That is actually
air
insane.
quality.
Like
the
real
fires are
deal
emitting
insane.
a ridiculous amount of carbon dioxide, ash, smoke. We are breathing that in every day. So even if you're miles away, you're still going to suffer with the consequences of the smoke and the ash. And if you have asthma or any kind of lung issues, I highly recommend that you put on a damn mask or just stay the fuck inside. And then recovery time. We don't really talk about how it can take decades to recover from these wildfires, to the point sometimes where it can actually damage and affect the ecosystem for eternity. Like literally some ecosystems will never be the same because of California wildfires. So How can we prevent these wildfires? Honestly, humans are 80% of the time, humans are the cause of wildfires like this, especially in California where it's very dry. Be careful with unattended campfires. Be careful with fireworks. Or sometimes it's not caused by humans and the wind is really bad and you have a downed power line and boom, that's all it takes. That said, I know you're hearing a lot of things on the news, but now maybe you have a better understanding of how these fires start and why it takes so long to put them out. I'll keep you guys updated with the fires here. Please stay safe, stay aware, and take care of each other.
Imagine having to leave your son behind in a burning house. So this is Rory Callum Sykes, and he was a child actor living in LA, and this is his mom. His house caught fire because of all the embers that floated, I guess, and landed on his house, setting the house on fire. She was trying desperately to get him out, but she couldn't lift him because he was born with cerebral palsy, and he's also blind. So she was calling 911, trying to get help, and all these firefighters show up, but they have no water. He finally told her, "Mom, just leave me." I can't on either side. Like, imagine this mom knowing she has to leave her son behind in a burning home. And imagine him knowing that the house is burning and that he cannot physically get out. And he just knows what's about to happen. I have been seeing so.
You guys, that right there is horrible. Now, this is the type of thing that I'm talking about. People get hurt. People die this way. And he couldn't help himself. Y'all heard what she said. I don't even need to go any further. That's not okay. In any sense of the word. Now, bro, like, again, I got a real disdain for real governmental type issues like this, but they'd rather talk about soft pill issues that I could get into, but I'd just rather not. Man. Look, man, that is ill. Not okay. And I'm praying for that family.
So many horrific reports about the fires that are going on in California and how they have no water to put them out. And I cannot fathom it. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, they're rich, they'll just rebuild. Many of them can't rebuild because their insurance policies were just canceled. Their fire coverage was just canceled conveniently right before these wildfires took place.
Didn't I say
and the fire department had budget cuts that weren't going to allow them to prepare for such a travesty
I literally
like
said
this.
something about that earlier, y'all. Go back in the video and take a look.
A coincidence.
They cut the insurance right before the fire?
We have some major updates right now about the LA County fires. Number one, Mexico firefighters have arrived in Los Angeles to help battle the Palisades fire. As of this post, 75 firefighters from Mexico, including 3 information officers, have arrived in California. Meanwhile, Governor Newsom has doubled the amount of National Guard members activated to 1,680 service providers. In addition, some good news, several evacuation orders for the Eaton fire have actually already been lifted for cities like Bradbury and Duarte, but parts of Altadena, which is where the fire hit hardest, is still off limits. Thankfully, given the weather conditions, it looks as though the Eaton fire at least will be neutralized or will be contained some more. The Palisades fire, however, continues to burn, is now threatening communities just west of the 405 freeway, and it's pushing inwards towards Brentwood and the Bel Air area, with another front moving into the San Fernando Valley, Encino, and Sherman Oaks. That one's still very serious, and firefighters really don't have that one under much control. I believe it's 8% containment the last I heard. As soon as we get more information, I will provide it to you, so be sure to follow along if you don't already.
Man, Shout out to the people that sending people.
Celebrities
sending
who lost over $100 million in the LA fires. First, Paul George Paul's losses are over $100 million. His home, worth around $30 million, is in Eaton, north of Pasadena, and features a modern minimalist style. He's also a big car lover. He had a $600,000 Rolls-Royce Ghost and a $200,000 Mercedes AMG G63. Sadly, both cars were destroyed in the fire. Second, JJ Redick. JJ's losses are estimated at $110 million. He has a $35 million mansion in a wealthy neighborhood of LA. His house even includes a private library filled with rare art.
That's the head coach for the Lakers, if any of you guys didn't know. He was one of the best shooters in the NBA history, for real. And it's kind of sad that he had just became a head coach for the Lakers, and then his house gets burnt up. That's like I said, that's fucked up, for real.
JJ also owns a $500,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom and other luxury cars, all of which were lost in the fire. Third, Ryan Fisher. Ryan is looking at an estimated $100 million loss. His home is a modern-style villa in the West LA Palisades, worth about $30 million. It's in the heart of the worst-hit area, so nothing survived, including all of his luxury goods and collectibles. Fourth, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's losses are over $140 million. His mansion, a 4-story villa in the West LA Palisades, is valued at $50 million. His home also housed NBA trophies, signed jerseys, and basketballs, which are priceless to him. Kawhi had mentioned earlier that he didn't have insurance, so things don't look great. Let's send them our prayers and
What the fucking hell? That's the shit I'm talking about, y'all. What's stupider? Excuse me. Jesus. Being an NBA player who does not have insurance or not having at least a backup house in another freaking neighborhood. What? Yeah, prayers up. I hate that he lost everything. That's horrible. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, y'all. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But it is very foolish for you, an NBA player, to not have house insurance or a backup in a different location, more secure. You are rich. Like, okay, I'm asking y'all right now, what would y'all do with that money? No, I'm really asking. Let me know down in the comments. Bro, what, bro? Like, got to be freaking kidding me, man. Like,
and wish them the strength to rebuild.
$130 million house. You don't got insurance. Are you stupid?
We know
man?
Insurance. Updates on the California fires. They are now moving towards Brentwood. Just to put everything into perspective, the population of Brentwood is around 65,000. The population of Encino is around 50,000+, and the population of the Palisades is 23,000. So there's a lot of people that live in Brentwood. Currently, the Palisades fire is around 23,000 acres at about 11% containment. And the winds that we've had that have been so terrible in California are not suspected to die down until Wednesday, meaning we have about 4 more days of this chaos and winds and fires changing directions until they're able to really get a full grasp on all of this. Some homes in Brentwood have unfortunately already started to be taken by the fire, and the Eaton fire is still blazing at 14,000 acres with around 15% containment. No one knows when all of this is going to be over. This video is currently being made at 11:30 p.m. on a Saturday night. I'll continue to update as I find out more information. Stay safe, California.
That's almost been a week ago, y'all. Fires was blowing from the Palisades to other locations. Setup. Normally, a fire and a wind kind of don't coincide, right? Somewhere that's hot doesn't have any gust of wind flying off somebody's face. Think about it, bro. We are not stupid. I didn't pay attention much in science class. That's more my little brother. I don't know about my big brother for real. Maybe he did too, but my sister was good at everything. But look, bro. If I can figure this out, I am not the brightest bulb in the box yet into. Because this is wild. This is kind of insane. Like I said earlier, Sodom and Gomorrah vibes. Straight out the Bible, man.
California.
Is it still going on or is it over?
Breaking news, the Palisades fire has now become the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history. The Palisades fire is now pushing inland towards Brentwood, affecting areas near UCLA and the Getty Center. These blazes have already claimed 16 lives with more missing. Firefighting efforts are supported by crews from across the United States, including Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, and Washington. International support has also arrived from Mexico and Canada, while inmates also join the efforts on the ground. Malibu has lost approximately 1/3 of its eastern edge to this fire, drastically impacting the community and its picturesque coastal homes. The Palisades fire has now scorched over 23,000 acres and is 11% contained. More Santa Ana winds are expected in the coming days, potentially complicating containment efforts. What are your thoughts on this situation in California?
This is a big ass distraction, I feel like, because the election is the next big thing to happen. And it seemed like, well, not the election, but the inauguration. What the fuck ever, okay? Yeah, what the fuck ever, all right? But yes.
Bruh, how did the fire start? How did the fire start? Do anybody know?
The governor should
I spoke about that earlier.
resign. People are dead. Homes have burned. It is not your first rodeo. It is not. And when you know that you have a state that is prone to fire, and I'm going to give it to you, you've got global warming. You have literally a tinderbox. Isn't this the part where you take the highest income tax, highest sales tax, highest gas tax, and rebuild the infrastructure? I'm sorry. And
that's a really good point, y'all. She talking about how the fact is that California is probably the most expensive place to live in the country, right? But they won't use that money that the taxpayers willingly pay to rebuild the infrastructure of their own city. I feel like this is only the start of something crazier. A little bit later in this video, y'all gonna see, I think, because I saw something on TikTok about this myself. The governor is going to get on here and say something about LA 2.0, about how it's going to be like a smart city. You know what I'm saying? Robots, self-driving cars, no more modern shit, if that makes sense. Well, when I say modern, not of today, I'm talking like old school, like modern, you know, but old timey. That's the word I'm looking for. If he had to do this to do that, I don't really understand it. I mean, you were halfway there. Why would you tear it completely back to zero if you were already halfway there? Unless this new smart city isn't going to have anything to do with us. So like I said, bro, these fires, bro, it could definitely be leading to something bigger, bro. And it's definitely a distraction for us right now because they're preparing for something else that's about to happen. It always works like that. Yeah. About 20 more minutes, y'all. Thanks for being patient.
reason for me this is super serious is because this guy wants to be your president.
Come on.
This now goes from a California problem to a countrywide problem. Like, I get it. He's got good hair. We've got much bigger problems, okay?
She wasn't playing.
She ain't playing no
Wherever she
games.
was, she wasn't playing.
This was supposed to be the water to put out the Palisades fire. This is the Santa Ynez Reservoir. It's the water supply basically for the Palisades. When they first started fighting the Palisades fire, they ran out of water extremely quickly.
Wow.
Wednesday, 3 a.m., they were basically out. And there's been a lot of talk on why this happened. So how long has this reservoir been empty for?
Since February of last year. There was no communication from the Department of Water and Power to LAFD that there was a water supply issue.
The firefighters, when they started fighting the fires, no one informed them that the reservoir was empty. This reservoir holds 117 million gallons of water. The fire department was using a water supply from 3 backup tanks, each one only holding 1 million gallons of water. They say it's closed for maintenance to repair the lid that's on top of it. I don't know a lot about reservoir maintenance, but there's literally no construction materials or vehicles anywhere in sight. Also, with a reservoir like this, you can refill it or start to refill it. So another question is, if they saw the Santa Ana winds were coming and we have this remarkably dry wet season, why was there no attempt to start refilling it back up? I know I threw a lot out there, but I think we need some answers, guys. Some real answers here.
They didn't even tell the firefighters there wasn't no
County, but to see these fires in LA proper, the flames reaching the beach, that's just not normal. There's no other way to put it. High pressure sits in the area, makes California vulnerable to the Santa Ana winds. You've likely heard that. Wind out of the north that funnels through the mountains. This was the big problem. This is our big weather maker that brings the winter storm to Houston on Thursday. Now, this powerful storm right up against this high pressure area created this funnel of forceful wind, not only being squeezed by the mountains, but being funneled down by the foothills. This downslope is what caused the race of this fire so quickly, devastating communities that I grew up in. I mean, I'm catching up with my friends, my family members, one of which told me that she actually had to run out of her house as this fire was literally at her doorstep.
I was on a call for work, and my mom came into the room and interrupted and yelled, "The backyard is on fire." My father was the last to leave, and he ended up, they told him to abandon his car. It was every single direction. Every direction you look, it is ripping. And that was just so scary.
Heartbreaking, scary. Having to listen to my friends, my relatives worry about their.
I mean, like real shit. Imagine your backyard on fire. Like, what do you fucking do about it? You get the hose? Good luck, nigga. That's salt water. Ain't gonna do nothing but spread and explode. Hopefully, it ain't getting on you nowhere. But hey, man, problem.
Their family making it out of these fires safely, let alone their houses, thousands of them destroyed. These wind gusts are just not something that they see. These are hurricane force winds, Cat 1, Cat 2, in popular areas like Magic Mountain, like Hollywood, the Burbank Airport. I mean, it is a situation that is ongoing. Wind gusts still 45 miles an hour. They are still under a fire weather warning through tomorrow at 6 o'clock, guys. So all of our thoughts and prayers really with this area. I'm just hoping that relatives and families stay safe through this unprecedented, unimaginable wind event that they're going through.
Yeah, so many of us know and love that area and have loved ones there. We'll be thinking of them. Thank you, Ken.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just lost, they got canceled from their fire insurance. So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old. And through the state of California, because of this, they're 90 years old. They've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance.
Wow.
So thank you, California insurance companies, supporting residents who pay taxes and love California.
Isn't that literally what I just said earlier? They talking about how insurance companies were canceled for like thousands of the residents right before the fire happened. That's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. What the hell is really going on here? Y'all like my new microphone, man? This motherfucker's the shit, ain't it? Yeah, man. Sit up right there next to me, damn it. Mic check? No, I'm just
And they wonder why people leave California.
First and foremost, you did get your parents out safely.
I live in Sierra Madre. My parents are in Sierra Madre, but...
And now you know that it is under evacuation as well, north of Sierra Madre Boulevard.
Yeah, I snuck here. You know, there's a will, there's a way. Probably shouldn't do it, but you know what? Under the circumstances, send me to jail. That's fine.
It is unbelievable what's happening here to the neighbors. Your parents' house is still standing. You had a hose. You're doing what you can.
I mean, I have a hose. It doesn't compare to these beloved neighbors that I've known. I was born and raised in this house, and I live in Sierra Madre, and I'm now 62 years old. And this is the house I was born and raised in, and I've never moved out of Pasadena, Sierra Madre, Hastings Ranch.
Well, let me tell you, it does help for people who aren't here to know what's happening. So you sharing that story, it does a service. I came up to you without even asking your name.
My name is Lynn Levin Guzman. This is the Levin household. I'm a nurse for over 30 years in emergency room.
That shit
I
be
deal
itching.
with fire
Yeah.
all the time and firefighters. And this situation here, luckily people got out because those are my patients. The people who are not so fortunate to get out.
As you mentioned, let's just hope everyone's okay. Lynn, I'm going to let you get back to it. And for you taking the time, we thank you. To your parents, we wish them the best as well. As I send it back to you, there's Lynn again with the hose. She's using a garden hose, getting the awnings, getting the roof of the house, doing anything she can. We say that as the embers are blowing directly on us here in the Upper Hastings Ranch community. She's here, her brother's here, and you know that there's other, let me tell you, the majority of the homes in this community are still standing. We drove past many on the lower side that are still standing, but the night is young.
Absolutely, a long way to go, and a courageous woman at that. And she does bring up a great point that we should talk a whole lot more about, and that is the fact that so many people are now uninsured when it comes to a fire.
Salute to her, bro. Salute to her.
So the state of California will not allow firefighters to use ocean water to put out this destructive fire that very soon is going to surpass $10 billion in damages.
Whoa.
And some expect it's going to balloon to $12 to $15 billion is going to be the cost. But here's why. According to experts, they say using salt water to fight a fire will cause the equipment to eventually corrode and cause other damage to tools. It says it could cause problems to tanks, to fire trucks, hydrants, and the tools. However, some question, wouldn't the damage to the tools, the hydrants, the fire trucks be less than the total destruction of this Palisades fire and the fires surrounding the area? And the answer is yes. However, how quickly could the equipment be replaced? That's the first thing. And now the reason why many experts believe California will not allow firefighters to use salt water is because it's considered dangerous. Listen to this. high salt content of the water is potentially damaging and dangerous to the ecosystem. It says causing a barren landscape in those areas for many years afterwards. But to use the salt water as effectively as hydrant water, it needs to be desalinated. Now, here's the cost to do that. It's between $5 and $10 per 1,000 gallons. Keep in mind those 3 tanks that are sitting up in the Palisades, well, they hold about 1 million gallons each, according to reports. But today, officials said it wasn't a matter of water levels being too low in the tanks. It was a matter that the supply going up the hill was too slow. Not low, slow. Meaning, not enough water being pushed out of the hydrants would even make a dent in the fires. So according to officials, it's not that the water wasn't enough, but it was too much destruction too quickly. That was the cause. But let me know, do you think this is real, or is this just their statement coming out at the time?
Man, it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of questions. What?
Look at that shit, y'all.
So you just gonna cancel my insurance
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, man. Look at this shit.
When I've been paying for years.
It's a crazy time, man.
That don't sound right. Whoa.
Like, look at this shit, y'all.
This stuff looks like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like a damn movie.
Firefighters in California are still battling a number of blazes across the Los Angeles area. We do know the Palisades fire, that largest one that continues to burn, is currently 11% contained, according to officials. So far, more than 23,000 acres have been burned by this spreading fire. Also, the Eaton fire, the second largest among 4 that a number of trackers are looking at right now, has burned more than 14,000 acres. And it is more contained than the Palisades fire, but is also continuing to burn in a number of populated areas. There are currently many firefighters from across the United States that are in Southern California working to battle these blazes, but the images are devastating. So many people displaced inside California. The population combined of these areas is more than 50,000 people. And of course, that tragic death toll of 16 people that have been killed so far in this natural disaster.
The Southern California fires are burning for a pretty simple reason that has nothing to do with AI, water agreements, or LA spending habits. Extremely strong winds came before seasonal rains. First, let's talk about why this happened. So fall 2022 through spring of 2024 were super wet years for the LA region with deadly rain and costly flooding. It also created a flush of new vegetation. The rain stopped just in time for record-setting summer heat with no meaningful precipitation for 8 months. Typically, December through February is the rainiest season in LA, but so far this year, not so much. 2024 ended as the hottest year on record, and a warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, pulling water out of vegetation quicker. So all of that new growth transformed into receptive fuel for fires by hot, thirsty air. And if you add a spark to the California Santa Ana winds, you have an extremely fast fire, which we're told over and over cannot be put out until the wind dies down. Thousands of people are losing their homes and some even their lives. And these fires will almost certainly make up the most expensive fire event in California in US history. The Palisades fire also ripped through one of the most precarious insurance markets in the state. And that could even have ripple effects or even tidal wave impacts far outside of the fire perimeter. This state insurer called California Fair Plan had just $200 million available to pay in claims in March of 2024. So residents are likely to run into an expensive situation. Private insurance companies in the market are required to foot up to $1 billion of the Fair Plan's payouts. Anything over that is paid for by all of California's taxpayers. And as of January 10th, 2025, this event is thought to be causing over $130 billion of damage, according to early estimates by AccuWeather. But insurance consultant Nancy Watkins also told us that she sees this fire as an opportunity to focus on a long-term solution where insurers pay the risk more accurately and focus on reducing loss from.
What you doing with all the money we giving y'all every month? You know what I'm saying? Like, so y'all pay up to $1 billion, and then the taxpayers pay the. So we paying insurance and we paying what?
Future fires by designing and retrofitting homes and communities for wildfire according to the best science available. But this will mean significantly increased insurance costs in the short term.
That's some fuck shit.
Let's think about this now. What's going to happen next? Well, over 10,000 structures. Think about this. 10,000 structures have burned down to the ground in Los Angeles. That's houses, schools, businesses.
Did y'all hear what that man just said? 10,000 structures have burned down in greater Los Angeles, California. I don't know about y'all, but that is sick to me. Bro, first of all, 10,000. We talking about ghetto and upper echelon rich folk. How many of those same homes are going to be like salvageable to the point to where, like, how long is it going to take them to rebuild this type of thing for these people? If not, is the government prepared to give them some kind of government assistance in housing? Any person that was and can prove that they were affected by this firestorm. Excuse me. But yeah, like I said, I don't see that happening because the government ain't never been our friend, man. As long as we can make them a quick motherfucking buck and shut the fuck up about it, they morals and they values, they ain't giving a damn. Matter of fact, they would be cool if it was only them. If they didn't have to worry about the have-nots. If it was only them. That's why, for me, I've never been one for, kind of political innuendos and conversations like that. But I'll tell you this, when it affects people in this world that I love and care about, people I don't even know, that's still kind of like fucked up. That's still kind of wrong in essence. And when you think about it in hindsight, it's almost like they're pushing out the people that can't afford to be there, but allowing the rich to be able to rebuild. Think about it. It's a big ass game of the have and the have-nots. Better believe it.
10,000 structures. Now, before the insurance companies pay a dime, they have to send adjusters out to every single structure to inspect the structure and write up a report. Trust me, I've been through this. And then send it back to the insurance company. And then the insurance company will decide what it's going to pay out, when it's going to pay out. And you better hope they never find an arsonist responsible for these fires, because that'll give the insurance companies a perfect out. Oh, it's not an act of God. Oh, we don't cover that. So once the reports get back to the insurance companies, then they got to decide who gets what and when. When's that going to happen? How long is that going to take? Then all the 10,000 structures, they have to remove all the debris. they don't have the crews to remove the debris in a timely fashion. How long is that going to take? And suppose you own a house that's worth, I don't know, you bought it for 600 grand and now it's worth $2 million. And that's what it's going to cost to rebuild it. And the insurance company decides, okay, we're going to cover the cost of the rebuild. And when is that going to happen? You know, there's only so many construction crews, and they're going to be working at a premium, and they're going to be working on their schedules.
You're right.
It's a horrific situation. You're looking at years to recover from this.
Let me be clear.
Crazy.
The 17.
Oh my God, man. Like I said, this thing, man, is getting out of hand, y'all. And like I said, I'm praying for every person in Los Angeles, California right now that has been affected by this firestorm. And really and truly, guys, I'm praying for you guys' safety, because this is only the tip of the iceberg. I quote the scripture a lot, and one thing that I'll leave you guys with is that these are the beginning of birth pangs, earthquakes, rumors of wars, pestilence, tornado, you name it. Coming for a reason. Something new is on the horizon, and you can pretty much say it's here. But I'll tell you guys this, and I'll leave you guys with this: these LA fires are merely a distraction from distracting you from the bigger thing that's going on unseen. And with that being said, this is going to be loaded Mikey. Excuse me. This is going to be Mikey Reacts. MikeyClark TV signing off. And hey, man, I really, really love you guys, man. Like, with everything in me, I do. You know what I'm saying? I more or less just want to say that I appreciate you guys. If you made it to this point in the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.